welcome back to another exciting edition of Comic Cave Podcast. My name is Chris, here with my hetero life mate, Mr.
Russ.
And today, once again, Comic Cave on the road, coming to you live from the Woodland, Texas part of Texas, Woodlands. We are here at the awesome Space Cadets Comics Store, and I'm joined by Miss
Jenn.
Please, ma'am, introduce yourself, introduce your awesome store, and tell us about your store, please.
Well, hi, I am Jenn King, owner of Space Cadets Collection Collection. We started out much smaller than we are now, but our footprint is 5,000 square feet plus 3,200 square feet of attached warehouse. And we have a sister store that does gaming. That's our little name. And we have a pizzeria just over my corner of my shoulder. So we have lots of things. I tell people now, think of us like the nerd mall.
Right. No, you guys have all types of stuff here. This is crazy. I saw board games over on one side, you got figures on another, and then comics in between. So It's definitely full house.
So please tell me, what inspired the Space Cadets name?
Oh gosh, this is like a silly story. Okay, so I had settled on Space Cadets very early on for the name, but I wanted something else in it to kind of let people know what the story is, right? Because if you just have the name like Space Cadets, I still get people coming that think that I'm selling things like from NASA. Mm-hmm. I mean, go figure, we're in Houston, so. Right. So I was fussing with my husband about, we're gonna have a bunch of collections of collections. He was like, well, how about collection? And I was like, that's ridiculous, and I love it.
Right.
So we kept that theme going because we have Space Cadets Gaming that's part of our family. We have an online group, Space Cadets Wholesale.
Okay. And
you can just ad nauseum that to whatever we've thought of next. We'll probably have that too. But people kid around that we'll have we'll take over the shopping center and we'll have Space Cadets, roller skating, or I don't know.
How long have you guys been in business? When did you open it? Is this the first? I'm sorry, all types of questions. Is this the first location? You guys moved here? How long have you been around?
So I've been in the industry since 1992.
Oh, nice.
I had my first store in Midland, Texas from 1995 to 97, which is a dumb time to open a comic book store because that 1996, Marvel went bankrupt.
Yep.
We had the distribution wars, and UPS had a strike all in 1996. Wow. So I always say, if you had a comic book store in 1996 and made it out of 1996 alive, you are a champion.
Hey.
But in 1997, my husband got into the business school at Northwestern. So we sold it to one of our customers and went off to get a business degree. And then we started our family. Okay. So in 2010, we opened up this store. So this is, we're working on our 11th year.
Got you.
So as I walk around the store, and before we did this interview, and also we'll have a commercial mid-break to show you this awesome store, I see a lot of some rare stuff. I see you guys have a MASH figure back there, which is, I'm a huge MASH fan, so I like the show, and I know how rare those figures can be. What goes into a day of a comic book store owner, especially in the Woodlands, Texas area?
It can be a lot of different things. It's different now than it was before we started doing live selling, which we were already doing pre-COVID, so it wasn't like a big change for us, but we really ramped it up then. But really, it involves coming in and making sure everything's where it belongs before you start the day. During the day, people come in and want to show you their collections and get advice about how to care for it, how to store it. They want to sell it. Value it to give it to the next generation. So I spend a lot of time doing those kinds of things and helping people care for their collection.
You really help the culture behind the community and stuff. Yeah. How would you? Oh man, because you have literally it's a very busy store. Probably honestly one of the busiest stores I think that we've been into. I'm not even just saying that. So how have you cultivated that relationship with the people out here and set yourself so far apart from a dungeon, to be perfectly honest?
Well, keep in mind, I started in this industry in the 90s when dungeon was the way you were. I actually still love dungeons, so there's nothing wrong with dungeons. I like to deal those
I'm not
digging
trying to
dungeons.
Knock anybody. But...
Digging dungeons is the best. I used to love doing that. What I had in mind when I started this store, very clearly it's different from the one I had in the 90s because that was a different feel. That was the beginning of Magic, and it was pre-Pokemon and pre me having a family. So, I was 25 when I opened that store. So that was a ridiculous amount of time ago. Now, when I opened this one, my boys were still pretty young. So I wanted to focus on what I wish I had when I was their age, which was a place where they could come and be and have no one harass them about picking up things. Like, don't touch that. You're going to bend it, whatever.
That's not the first time we've heard that.
Right.
Yeah, our culture is very much like, especially the kids area that's over there. They can open up and read entire books. We don't. I know that kids will read a book and then read it again and then ask their parents to buy a copy of it, and it's not, they're gonna read it and be done.
I love that.
So I want them to do that. And then we have a chest area over there. It's so cute because we find teenagers over there having dates. It is the cutest thing ever, as they're like, the guys try not to,
stumble over themselves.
Yeah, he's like, please don't let her beat me too badly. I want to look at least kind of good at this.
All right.
Love will definitely spark here at Space Cadets.
There has been. There actually, we know about this. We've been asked to have weddings here. They wanted to do it on a free comic book day, and I said, absolutely not. We can't do that. Like, I think our max capacity by the standards of the fire marshal is like 125, and they were like, we're only gonna have 100 people for the wedding. I was like, yes, but that's free comic book day, and that means that no one else could probably come in.
Right.
So we told them we were very sorry. We would love to have done it because it would have been the best, but not on that day. That was just not possible.
Not a good day.
But yeah, we've had engagements in the store, and yeah, people have met. Like they've met here and
I'm sorry,
had
I
relationships.
think you said earlier. When did this store open?
2010.
10. Okay. Wow. Already engagements and all that stuff.
Yep. We had renewal of vows ceremonies.
Earlier you mentioned your husband, he had a business degree. So was the comics coming from you to start this up? Or is he into the comics as well?
My husband's what you call the man. He's an oil and gas exec.
Okay.
So he supports me. He's the best support system ever. But this is not his world.
Gotcha. So then what got you into comics?
Oh gosh. I just liked collectibles in general.
Okay.
The comic books came to me late in life, honestly. I didn't start reading comic books until I was in graduate school myself.
Oh, wow.
I just wandered into this was big back in the 90s, sports card place, and they just happened to have some comic books. And I have a super OC personality, and he had like 4 long boxes of comic books that were completely disorganized, and so I would open boxes of cards for him and make collated sets, which was, for a long time people would be like, why would you open up a box? But back then, buying a set was big. So I'd do that in between classes, or I'd go and I'd organize his comic books, which is really funny because I went back to that store, and we're talking about 25 years later, and I thought because he seemed impossibly old to me when I was 20 something. But Al was still there and still doing his stuff. He'd expanded the store a little bit, but he had the same 4 long boxes of comic books, no lie.
Wow.
And I went and reorganized them. It was a trip down memory lane because I knew that I had been the person that had chunked the price on them, and they were still there.
They were the same ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
So comics weren't his focus, obviously. He was still a sports place.
Sports memorabilia.
But yeah, I fell in love with it. We actually started our first version of the store was at what they call a flea market, or the dirt mall, which was like indoor flea market mall in Oklahoma City. We did that for a whole year, just as a proof of concept. My husband would come and hang out with me while I did my thing, and that's
awesome.
We were young marrieds, and it was super adorable.
Yeah.
But I was hooked right away. Nice. So I started at that age with no knowledge, no back knowledge.
Wow.
Like if you had asked me back then, what was the origin of Venom? I didn't know any of those things, but I knew enough to ask the person that was in front of me that was asking me this thing, like, do you know? Tell me what the thing is. Is this your favorite guy?
Yeah.
Tell me all about it. So that's all my knowledge.
Wow.
Mostly of the really deep older stuff came from people telling me about their passion for their character. And then I'm super deep from whatever came out from then until now because I read all that stuff. But before, there's no way. Who's going to be able to afford to go get, Amazing Fantasy 15? I was like, sure, I got 5 of those. No. No. I've been in the presence of 1, and it was in this store 2 days ago.
Oh, whoa. That's lead up to another question later on.
Yeah. This is definitely a question we love to ask all of our store owners as we go on more and more into the future and we get older. Starting off, our generation grew up watching anime and everything like that. Do you feel that there's more and more of an anime presence coming into the store? Kids asking for anime books and mangas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Figures, Dragon Ball Z, everything, Kogias and all that. Do you have to read up on the stuff that they are asking for, or are you just like, no, we just have Marvel, DC, and everybody in between?
For me, myself, I have not found time in my life, on top of reading all the comic books, to read the manga itself. But I have been blessed with really great staff members they've totally got that, and it's their jam. So they tell me what they're about, so I don't walk around like a buffoon. Because I know by numbers, we talk about it a lot in the industry, that manga itself is the biggest growth part of our market. That and things that they would call book scan stuff. So stuff that would be like scholastic books and the YA graphic novels. That's where the growth is in our industry. That's the stuff that's ticking up. Other than like right now during COVID, it's back issues. But holy cow. It's like people finally got time to organize their stuff and realize they had holes in their collection or something. That is, before COVID, there were a lot of stores talking about not doing back issues anymore. They were going to get rid of those segments of what they were doing and just go graphic novels. And now that is no longer a discussion that people have.
And do you think that some of the possible like Marvel movies, DC movies might play into people wanting to go back and finding out more of these back catalogs? Or do you think that actually pushes more some of the newer stuff?
This is what I found, and it's very contrary to what you think would happen. The big blockbuster films that have come out from Marvel have driven no business to comic book stores.
Wow.
Really?
None for source material.
Okay.
The people that are watching those movies don't necessarily have a connection to where the source material might be and don't know where to go find it.
Gotcha.
It's a little bit, we as stores really wanted Marvel and DC to put at the end of their films something simple.
Right.
You like this stuff? There's a source material called comic books. Here is comicshoplocator.com. Use your zip code and go find the rest of the stuff. But those calls to action didn't happen. And it's probably a big disconnect between the studio part of their arms and their publishing arms. But what is completely different right now is that the stuff that's coming out streaming, that we see immediate weekly response to people coming in and hunting down the source material for the characters that they see during those episodes. So, for example, WandaVision, you could just count it down from like 3 a.m. Thursday night, Friday morning, there were going to be people at the front counter asking, where's the first appearance of White Vision? Okay, well, that's going to now cost you a whole bunch of dollars because now everybody wants that book.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it was interesting like that, and Umbrella Academy and those kinds of things. And I don't know if because Umbrella Academy was a binge, right? There wasn't a weekly aspect of it because I thought a little bit that might be it.
Right.
But when Umbrella Academy came out, there was no back issue, like the back issues you couldn't get in the trades. That market they were unprepared for the demand. Right. So I was in Hawaii on vacation calling up, Penguin Random House and everyone else, like, do you have any? I thought I had confirmed a case. Right. And then they called me back. They're like, sorry, we thought we had a case of that. We don't. Sure that someone else just faster than me got that onto the truck. But so those kinds of things, when you have, I don't know that there's any call to action there, but there's something different about the streaming, watching it at home, that drives people to want to know more about that universe, which is way cool.
So like a follow-up to that, do you try to stay ahead of the curve and like try to, like, Invincible's getting a show on HBO Max, right? You check that out, be like, okay, maybe we should have some more of this on stock. Try to like predict, so to speak, on where things go. Yeah,
if you go to YouTube right now, there's a reaction. They put up reaction videos to people watching the first episodes. And when it gets to that point is what they say. So it's obviously good because people are super excited about it.
It's not necessarily even like when they announce these shows. It's people have to wait to actually see it before you actually see that.
That's when we see it. So they'll announce it, and you'll see a little bit of smattering. Like, do you have any Invincible -- 1s? I'm like, yeah, not for 10 years. Kirkman's been popular for longer than just the announcement of this. So, but last week they actually re-released a new print that was prime print for so people can get a hold of that. And then we stocked up on trades and stuff in anticipation that is likely to happen. And I probably didn't do enough. I probably should have a giant display with 50 copies of it.
Right.
But if you're wrong, you can be really wrong. But I should know better because it's Kirkman.
Right.
I have regrets right now. I need to order things from Diamond.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, what is one of the most valuable items that have come through these walls, and what would you like to come through these walls? What's the one thing that you'd like to see?
It's interesting because we've focused ourselves as a family-friendly shop. I try not to buy really expensive things because I like to say, because we're a family-friendly shop, we also don't want to carry things that if someone buys them, it will break their family up. So we don't carry anything super expensive. Like, for example, if we ended up with the Amazing Fantasy 15, it would immediately go to our live stuff and move. It would move that way instead of being on the rack. But I mean, we've had some really cool things. Like we had a Walking Dead #1 that came from a soldier that used to carry it in his back pocket while he was on maneuvers. So it was not a minty book, but it was in the heat of when Walking Dead was hot.
Right.
We've finally got, I mean, I've been in the industry since, what did I tell you, 1992, and I never had in my possession Immortal Hulk 181, and it wasn't even like that I hadn't owned one. It was none had been in my presence, which doesn't make any sense because I know people that deal with comic books and have had 20
Super
of them
rares,
to
right.
work it through. So I finally got one of those, and you'd think I'd hold on to such a thing, but no, I knew somebody that was one of my regular customers, had always wanted one, so I immediately let him put it in layaway because I knew that had been his heart's desire forever and a day.
No,
So when we have key books, really key books, I tell people, I'm like, half an hour later, I will have sold it. It's not going to stick around, so you can think about it for a while if you like, but
not that long.
No, definitely we have to ask. I think you're the first store owner that we have asked this to. When something does come in and you like it so much, do you say, you know what, I'm gonna keep this, or do you actually put it for sale? Like do you keep it in the sense, or it's like, you know what, I gotta put it into the store? Mm-hmm. Or do you be greedy and be like, you know what, I'm gonna keep this for myself?
Personal collection.
Yeah.
You would be very surprised at what my personal collection has in it. I don't think that I've added any comic books in a really long time, except for ones that were like personalized to me from people that I know. But most of my stuff still is like a short box of books that I collected in the 90s when I used to go on to conventions and talk to the actual people and fall in love with them as people. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to hold on to that as a memory. Most everything else, I'm happy to have had it in my hand once. And if in the next 30 seconds it goes to a new house, I am a happy person. But I think people that are also collectors and are store owners, that's a tough road, because every book that goes home to your house is money that doesn't support your store mm-hmm. and pay for staff and all those kinds of things. So I've chosen not to do that. I'm more likely to take home original art when it comes in.
So like a Superman #1, Action Comics.
You've mentioned a couple of times about this pop-up. You started off on a pop-up. Do you still do pop-ups at all? Do you go to cons, or how else do you promote the brand and promote the store?
When it was a much more open world, we used to do all kinds of things. We go to math and science night at schools. We go to school carnivals and help them raise money. We go to conventions. We do when they used to do, there was a really big book weekend where they have like bus all the high schoolers in, mm-hmm. and it would be I don't know what those are called, book fair.
The book fairs, gotcha.
And we've done some crazy stuff that didn't seem to be related to comic books in any way. But if I had a friend that was like, hey, can you come help out this cause and set up, I'd be like, sure, why not?
Right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick commercial break here at Space Cadets in Woodland, Texas. My name is Chris, here with my hetero life mate,
Russ.
And
Miss Jenn.
We will be right back after these messages. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Comic Cave Podcast. Wasn't that an awesome commercial? I mean, did you see all the merchandise in this store? This is an awesome store. I think one of my favorite stores that we've been to. No offense to the other ones. We still have love for the other stores, but this store has a lot of stuff. Russell, getting back into the questions, what else have you got?
I've checked out your website and your YouTube channel as well. You said that you have a warehouse that you do. Is that where you record the YouTube channel at?
Yep.
What all goes into your personal YouTube channel? How does that help your business?
Okay, so
Loaded question, I'm sorry.
so you're talking about the experience?
Yes.
So that is a full-fledged channel that we launched about a month and a half ago now. It is at the very beginning of what will be a full end-to-end 24 hours of programming. So interviews, game shows, live selling shows. We've got some really reality TV.
Really?
We've got a show that should premiere. It's just like little teaser promo. Probably this week, unless they are having problems with the edit for it. But it's been shot behind the scenes at an indie press friend of ours. So you get to see what it's like to be in the office of. Right. This is a comic book company and gaming company, and both at one. So it's super cool. And I've watched it, the first episode, and I pre-warn people, don't be drinking milk because you will spew things out your nose, because it's like what you expect behind the scenes at any place.
Right.
When people are being goofy like we are, because it's just like
the family that you guys tend to build.
Yeah.
Right.
So you guys have a little network going on here, a network of shows.
Yeah.
What inspired that?
Well, it all started with about 3 years ago. Jesse James from Jesse James Comics and I started Comic Book Shopping Network, which is a Facebook-only live selling group, which is built of about 25 stores from all over the country. It is scheduled out just the way you would a regular network, in which we have selling shows. When one ends, another one goes on. So
like a QVC.
It's exactly like that, where you just make claims and pay that. You're buying from that store and getting shipped things from those stores, but they're all vetted. I'm the personal vetter, so if anyone misbehaves, then they have to answer to Miss Jenn, and no one likes that. So yeah, it's a very safe place to both be someone who shops and someone who sells there, because we make sure that everyone behaves and understands the rules, because it's also a community. We actually see a lot of people become friends, even though that doesn't make sense, right? Because they don't see each other at all. It's just people putting comments in, but they know about each other's pets, and did you pass that test for school? Or what? I foresee whenever we get back to having actual conventions again, that we'll have Comic Book Shopping Network breakfasts, where anybody that's in that city can get together and hang out.
Awesome.
Because they all know each other, but they've never seen each other, which is kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, no, you guys are really cultivating something unique and different. I don't see a lot of other shops doing anything like that. I mean, there's always a community behind a store or something like that, but you guys are really branching out there. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, you'll see, I'm friends with a lot of the other comic book stores, not only in the city, but nationally. But Bedrock also has a really hoppin' show that they do live on Facebook. It's super high-end and gorgeous, and I love all of that. It's the real truth is that, sure, you can be competitive, or you can work together to make a positive community, and that's what's happened. It doesn't make any sense, honestly, to have a group of 25 stores that are very successful all over America pool their customer base and make that work. But I'm telling you, it works all the way. If you ask anybody that's selling on the network, they're over the moon and trying to find ways to get more time slots. The problem is we're almost completely booked up end to end, and we're talking from 8 a.m. in the morning on pick a coast to 3 a.m. So we're only not on 5 hours in the middle of the night. That's it.
Is there any possible way that we can get the number of those people so we can interview them ourselves? We'll go across the land.
There you go. To go to the shops and see how they're liking it? Absolutely.
Comic Cave on tour.
I can let you all. Yeah.
And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen at home, we are wearing our mask because of COVID. You should wear your mask too. My question would have to be, has COVID affected the sales positively or negatively, or has it just been the same throughout since COVID coming and being here since last year?
It's completely changed. I think we have less walkthrough traffic and way more eBay traffic, and our live crews have grown big time. The people that can't get out still feel safe and happy that they have a way to reach out and talk about comic books with other people and pick comics up if they want to. But I would say that the sales themselves have just changed from where they're coming from. They're roughly the same. Mm-hmm. They just have moved from being in-person sales, because we don't have, we missed out completely on segments last year and this year that would be convention-based, because those are huge numbers that we usually see. So we don't have those at all, and we don't have any income from what we would normally do out in the community from going and setting up at those kinds of events. So we're missing out on all of those, but we've added on to all of that, replaced all of it with live.
Gotcha. So you started off as that was a weird way to put it. I was going to say started off as a woman in this. No.
Thank goodness.
Came out very wrong. I'm sorry. But being a woman in the business, we don't see too much of that. But we are seeing more women coming into enjoying comics and things like that. What do you think has contributed to that, and what do you recommend for not just women but anybody new getting into comics, like where to start?
Okay, so this is gonna blow your mind. I hope I just destroy your minds and everyone that's watching this podcast. What I found out is I was on a panel at New York Comic Con. This would have been 2 years ago now. That was about, in general, trends in comic books. And what someone brought as an actual stat was that Facebook itself was telling them that statistically, this is their algorithm data, that the biggest segment of people that were liking, following, and all that stuff, comic book related things, were women.
Really?
50 and above. And everyone at the panel said, that can't be right. And I said, I think it's right. I just think that those women aren't coming into stores because they are A, busy with everyday life, raising families, or B, that they don't know to feel comfortable in stores. They haven't been in one that's a new modern store that's open and clean and run by mixed staff. It's not all guys. So
toxic masculinity. No,
I mean, it's masculinity is awesome. I don't have anything against the masculinity, but to have someone that looks like you when you come in is very nice.
Right.
So I think that what we're seeing is that the really also mind-blowing thing about live is that is what we're seeing bear out in our numbers. Our top buyers across the board for everybody on the network are all women in that statistic.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, it's so I think that's what's happening. I think that they didn't have a way to shop or didn't know a way to shop, but it always wanted to.
Gotcha. Do you think that online sales and stuff is affecting a lot of that as well?
Yep.
Gotcha. Chris?
The force is female. Starting to wrap it up here. Starting to wrap it up here. Definitely, do you have any merch, store merch about Space Cadets shirts or hats or buttons that people can contribute to? And also, where can they find you online? You showed us about the network. Where can they go online to follow the network, and where can they go online to check out your awesome store, or to buy some merch, or to buy some stuff, or some in-house merch? Where can we go to do that?
Yeah, I haven't put it online yet, but we just reprinted our most popular shirt. It's looks just like the Spaceballs image. It says Space Cadets the shirt, and we made them a long time ago. Look, Adrian's over there like, hey, I want one.
I would like one too, because
they're way cool. They look amazing. Look, Adrian's gonna bring me one. He's so sweet.
Oh.
So we have them printed on these.
Thank you.
The softest material ever.
Space Cadets, the shirt.
The shirt.
I love that.
There you go. And you can shop with us about a gajillion different ways, but the best way to follow us and get up-to-date information is to join our Facebook page, which is just Space Cadets Collection. It's where I tend to post the most. If you can follow me, Jenn King. I don't have a personal life, so it's all public. So if you follow me, you're going to see mostly comic book stuff that I post and nothing personal, because I'm never home. So I literally work for 12-hour days. But you can also find us. Our website is spacecadetscollection.com, and it has links to our Shopify store and our eBay stores, even to pre-signing up for bad idea items, which there's a tab at the top that says "Have a bad idea," which makes me tickled. I have a Twitter handle. It's @CommanderKing. You can follow us on Instagram, which is a pretty lively community if you like pictures of life in the store. Our Insta, I think, is @Space Cadets. I'll check and make sure on that one. My friend and coworker Jenna, who understands Insta way better than I do, is running that. Someday we'll have a TikTok, but it'll be dumb, so I hope you like dumb TikTok, because that's all I know how to do. Yeah, I think that's most of the socials. Yeah, that's all of them.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
He's definitely staying busy with it.
And then CBSN is literally, if you go to Facebook and look up Comic Book Shopping Network, CBSN, it's a buying platform, so you'll have to answer 4 questions to be admitted, and it's just so that you know what you're doing when you come on and what we're about, and how to behave and not be one of those people.
Don't be
jerky
jerks.
person.
Don't be
No,
jerks.
don't be a jerk. Be nice. And then the experience is, the best way to get there is to use the bit.ly for it. It's bit.ly/T, lowercase h and e, and then an underscore, and then capital EXP. Or you can just look up the experience, and it'll usually pop up now.
We'll have a lot of your stuff down below, so it won't be too hard to find. Before we all the way wrap up, we have 10 questions that we like to go through with every guest that we have. Answer best of your ability. Random. You want to start it off, bro?
You go ahead. Start off.
I can start off?
Yeah.
First off, who is your favorite comic book publisher?
That's an impossible question. Not possible. I'm actually pretty good friends with almost all of the indie publishers, and I have connections at the top of the big 2. So I can't say, because that's rude, and
Be rude.
I literally read all of them. I could not tell you to save my life.
Okay, fair enough.
Sure.
Who is your favorite hero, and who is your favorite villain?
It's got to be Captain America, because I love everything about him. He's not perfect, and he makes huge mistakes, but he's always trying to do the right thing, and I feel like that's what I want to be. So it's Cap. I'm always inspired by the way he handles stuff. Villain. Oh gosh. It's gonna be super weird. So I'm also obsessed with a lot of things that are very fringe in Marvel, and they had a big storyline maybe 2 years ago called Secret Empire, in which the Cosmic Cube became a human form with a little girl named Kobik. And I think she's kind of disappeared, and I think she might grow up and come back and kick all of our butts. So
That's
Kobik for life.
Cool theory. I didn't even think about that. Which power would you like to have?
Precognition, of course, because then I can foresee everything and get out of its way.
With said powers, would you be a villain or would you be a hero?
I would be alive.
Who is your favorite illustrator? You can't say that you have a...
No, I can get down to this. I'm gonna have to preface it always by this week, because it changes depending what's out. This week it's Tony Fleece, because I really, really, really love his new book.
Nice.
Stray Dogs.
Who is your favorite writer?
Oh, okay. Also one of those things that changes daily, but probably I'll have to say Lemire.
Nice.
I'm just broadly, he does the most stuff that I can't put down.
What do you dislike about comic culture?
So much of it is changing and becoming positive. So I don't like people that make other people feel like if they don't know everything about the thing that they love, that they're somehow a less of a person. It's like if I said I loved Captain America and you were like, I don't know anything about Captain America, tell me, and I made you feel bad about it. I don't like that.
The purists.
Yeah, the ones that, like, I don't know. I think that we should be more accepting of people that don't know things about the things we love and see that as an opportunity to convert them into the things we love.
Yeah, for sure.
What is the one thing that you want in your collection?
The thing
Rosebud.
the thing I can't have. Brian Haberlin put up a piece of art week before last, that is of, it's one of the covers that he did for Marked. It's called The Prayer, and it's a gorgeous redhead with her hands like this, and it's a painted oil. He put that up for offer, and I was just, I don't know, an hour too late to claim such a thing. So I bought 2 of his other pieces to make myself feel better. But yeah, that I have huge regret about that.
Nice. If you weren't running a comic book shop, what other profession would you be doing?
Oh goodness. I actually trained as a police officer, so I guess that.
Nice.
And lastly, if you had a week to live in a fictional world, where would it be?
Oh goodness gracious. There's so many cool places I would like to go live, but they are a hot mess. I think the one that I'm intrigued the most by right now is the world that Cates has made in Crossover, where anything could happen and all the characters are present. So maybe there. That might be a fun playground to play in. That one.
Hey.
Here is your audience. Please speak into the camera and please give any advice you could to aspiring store owners or would-be owners, or just give any advice to our viewers, please.
For future store owners, the thing I've learned over time is that don't ever listen to somebody else that says they already tried it and it's been done and it doesn't work, because most of the successes I've had are from things that were those things that people said they've already tried, it didn't work, but I figured out how. So look at every challenge as a challenge and take it on and do the things. And in collecting, just buy the coolest thing that you can afford. My advice for investing is if it has a 10 cents or 12 cents on the cover, that's what you should be doing. That the new hot book that came out last week is not going to probably send your kids to college. If you can afford it, buy those older things and stash them away. Even if you have to save up for months to get the one book, that's totally cool. You will not regret those purchases at all.
Awesome. Wise words.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Comic Cave Podcast. We are in the lovely, beautiful Woodland, Texas side, joined by Miss Jenn from joined by Miss Jenn from Space Cadets here. Can you please give us the address of the store?
This is 27326 Robinson Road. It's actually in Oak Ridge North, but no one knows where that is. It's directly across from the Woodlands. That's as easy as you can make it. If you're going to the Woodlands and look across the highway, that's us.
My name is Chris, joined here by my hetero life mate.
Before we really go, though, because he always likes to skip this part, we do have a giveaway. But I actually forgot the giveaway thing in the car, so we'll have to put up a picture of that. I appreciate our editor, Eric, in the back. He's going to help out with that. But yes, we are giving away the Lieber Mayhew figure at 150 subscribers. All you guys got to do is like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. The more videos that we're doing the giveaway on, the more that you comment on, higher chance that you have of winning the figure. We are also doing a few giveaways of comics and soon action figures on our Instagram and Facebook as well. So definitely just go check that out.
And I'm going to throw in a shirt.
Hey.
Oh, hey. Thank you so much. See, you other store owners, you didn't do that. No. But that's okay. That's fine.
And it's high quality on that note.
Once again, my name is Chris. Thank you for joining us here with my hetero life mate,
Russ,
and Miss
Jenn.
Until next time, thank you so much and peace.